Yeah, it's getting recorded, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So next is, first problem is like smallest subsequence of distinct characters. So we have to return lexicographically the smallest subsequence of text which should contain all the distinct characters of the text exactly once, like AD and then followed by B and C. Same here. And regarding the constraint, you'll have all of the lowercase English letters. Yeah.
Yeah. So all of them are lower cases.
Lowercase, yeah.
Yeah.
Length is less than 1,000 and at least one.
Yeah. And what we have to do is we have to find a subsequence which is lexicographically the smallest
Yes.
one. Yeah. Okay. I think this is a sort of a repeat question.
Exactly. Hard problem that,
Yeah. Maybe about a couple of weeks back, right?
yeah, monotonic stack using
Yeah.
which word.
Yeah. So yeah, we can still actually talk about this one, right?
Yeah, yeah, sure.
Because this is a very interesting problem. Maybe we can take it in our medium list also. You know what we were discussing earlier. So
Yeah.
this actually is a monotonic stack problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Can be done without a stack also.
yeah, you can use without stack also. It depends on, but you'll have to use some data structure, right? Or is
Yeah.
it like you use something differently without even a stack and a data structure?
Yeah, I made use of a vector.
Okay, vector. Okay. Yeah, but on a high level, how we can do in a brute force? We can use some recursion, something like that. That should be possible, right? Even if it hits at yearly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we can obtain all the subsequences which are of length greater than or equal to this distinct count, and then sort those subsequences and then return the smallest one.
Okay. But then when we are forming subsequences, so but we'll have to maintain the order also, right?
Yeah, that is what I was saying.
Yeah. Hmm.
Order.
So maybe we can always refer the input string and use something like a visited array also to keep a tab on what we have already used. So we might actually form the way what Harshit was saying in addition to that, right? So because whenever we are forming a string of the unique ones, uh, we can look at what position we are, and based on that we can actually find out. So yeah, maybe I'm just thinking
So,
loud on that.
if you want to go without the stack and brute force, then maybe what we can do here is that, so take the example that I'm starting with the C. So first I will find out all the distinct characters, maybe in the set or somewhere. And then if I'm starting with the C, I will just try to compute the string, lexicographical string, which contains all the characters, and just compare with the next one. So if I start here with the first character, then my possible string will be the maybe CDAB, but that is not so this is not the smallest lexicographical order. So then I will try with the D and then A and all those things. So when you come to the A, third A, maybe at that time you may be able to form the AD and BC. So that we can take as the smallest.
Yeah, I think yeah that is a good one. So you are saying first you traverse the string and form a set, okay, and then in a while loop you always start from an index, okay, the first one, and keep on incrementing that index. So whenever you start with an index, you actually look through that set, but you still traverse the whole string. And
Yes,
whenever you
it's
find a unique one, you just remove it from the string, correct? Sorry, from the set.
yes.
Yeah, and then you compare at the end which is the lexicographically smallest
Smallest one.
sequence, and then return. Yeah, I think that is a good one.
It is a brute miss. It is, I mean, we cannot, it is very high complexity and all those things. So it's a brute force one.
Right. So it is a brute force, but it will work, right? Any questions on that? Anyone?
So how is taking care of that lexicographic part?
So he says if we go through like first, he wants every time I think we'll have to actually form a set. Okay, if this is a set, right? So first he will traverse the whole string, and in the whole string we can always find what are the unique ones, right?
ABCD. Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
CD.
CD, A, B, right? Something like that, right?
Hmm.
And then now you start from the input string with the index 0. Okay, so in the index 0, you see if C is there, so you put C here and then remove C from here. And if you go to D, if you find D here, you put D here and you remove it from here. And then you find A, okay, and then at the end you'll find B also. So you just store this list, then you actually move to 0 again. Again, you actually populate the set, right? Maybe it's twice, or maybe you can store it somewhere. And then you start from index 1, sorry, right? So you go from D, and then you actually again remove D, then A, and then in this B and C, right? So at the end, you will actually form lexicographically smallest one. I think it should work, but if
But
any
if let's
corner
say
cases,
we are having one character like X, which is repeating only once, right? Then it won't come when I start from I equal to 1, right?
why not? We actually traverse the whole string till I don't fulfill till the set is not empty.
Empty. Okay.
So always go from
Yeah.
0 to n and 1
And
to n, so 2 to n, something like that.
And we can improve this also.
Basically, you need to compute all the unique substring and then finally need to find out which one is the smallest one.
Yeah, or else you can always, whenever you are actually here, you can always find out which is the smallest one and remove the one which is the bigger one. So you keep on comparing that. That also can be done.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is still optimized. Yeah.
Yeah, what Harshit was saying, how we can optimize it?
Can I clear this?
Sure.
yeah, I'll clear it.
Yeah, you can erase this, Shashank.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm thinking of first keeping the count of all the indices of a particular character.
Mhm.
So let's considering this string, for C it would be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 6 and then 7. Now coming to D, it would be 1 and
3.
3. Now A,
A is 2,
3.
4. B is 5.
Okay, so we have to form the lexicographically smallest one, right?
Mhm.
So I have 4 options, right? C, D, A, B. Now, what do I pick? I can pick 2 uh, because, sorry, I can pick A because I'll have the rest of the strings later on.
I ended like
So if I pick, let's say, if I pick C here, then it won't be the smallest one because first of all it's a C, so I should look for the smaller ones, B or A. So if I pick B here, then I cannot. I cannot start my string with B because I'll then miss out on A, right? Because B is at 5th index.
so
So
we are
here,
picking the character with the smallest ASCII value first, right?
yeah, I'll try to do that if it's possible.
Okay.
So here I can do it. Here I can pick A here, and then I can remove this part, and I already have A. Now I am left with this. So basically, my point of interest would shift to all the indices greater than 2 now. So this would be stricken off, and this also. Now coming to C, D, and B. I'll try to go with B first and see if it's possible to pick it. It's not possible because if I pick B, I'll miss out on D, right? So I pick D here and I strike this off. Now I'm left with B and C. So I'll check which is the smaller one. B is the smaller one, whether it is possible to pick B or not. So I pick B here because it's possible, and I strike this off. I'm left with 6 and 7, so I pick C.
Okay, so indices lesser than whichever you have picked, you will ignore it, right?
Yeah, because we have to return a subsequence, no? So you cannot go back.
Okay.
Okay.
But actually, yeah, this is good. That is a very good explanation also. But implementation wise, how would you think to implement it?
Actually, this is what I implemented. Yeah, this is the greedy one, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
great. Yeah.
Yeah. This is how I implemented.
Okay.
I was just
Okay.
trying to build on what Deepak was saying. Like he was trying to go through all the possibilities. I was trying to greedily fix my character and then move on.
Oh, okay. So can we go and look at your solution first?
Yeah.
Yes, Shashank, that should be fine, right?
Yeah,
Then we
sure,
can
sure.
come to your monodel, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So first I'm storing the count of all the characters. So there I was in the explanation I made use of indices. It could have been done with count also. So for C, I cannot include it, right? So for C it would be 3. For D it would be 2. For B it would be 1. For A it would be 2. So the first thing I'm doing is I'm just picking my first character. I could have done this in the loop also, but I did it here.
Mm-hmm.
So this is my final string which I'm trying to build. So at this position it is this C. Okay. So I've decremented the count. So earlier it was this 3. So now it would be 2. And I've marked this as visited. So just to not consider it again.
Right.
Take the duplicate. So
Fine, yeah.
now coming down. Now I'm at D now. I decrement the count. So count of D becomes 0 here. Sorry, yeah, 1. Now I check whether it's visited or not. So it's not visited. So I move down in the while loop. Now I check whether this character is smaller than what I have at the rightmost index of my result. So I have in my result, I have this here, C. Right. So this is not smaller, right? So D is larger than C. So I'll not go in this loop. I'll simply append. So now my result becomes CD, right?
Yeah.
Now coming to next, now coming to A. So I reach here. Now I decrement the count of A. So it becomes,
Yeah. So we will again go down.
count of A would be
1.
1 now. Now it's not visited. So I come down and now I check whether this is smaller than my last entered character or not. So it is. And the other condition to be checked is this: whether I have more occurrences of that character, D in this case, later on or not. So I have
Yeah,
that, right?
correct.
Because it's not count is not zero. So what I do is I keep popping this character. So first I make this as false for D, and now I pop. So after this, I am left with C here,
Hmm.
right? So now I come again, I check whether A is less than C or not. So it is, and then I check the count. So count of C would be, it would be non-zero. So I can
Right.
add a C later on also.
Yeah.
So after this, my result becomes null. I come out, and my result would be A here,
Right.
right?
Hmm.
So I'll mark it as true here, and then I'll go on to D. I'll add D here, so it would be AD then. Now I won't consider this A because I would have already been taken, so this would be uh, triggered. Now coming
Okay.
to, so I'll check whether I have later on a D or not.
Okay. Yeah.
Basically, my count of D would be zero, right? That
Uh-huh.
time.
Yeah.
So I would not pop the D, pop this. So okay.
Yeah, you cannot pop D. Yeah, that is true.
So right. So I would not pop D. I'll simply append B here,
Hmm.
and now for C it would be. I'll simply add C. So this is the part. Like I have to ensure that I have more occurrences of that character I'm popping out in the further string, so that I can change my string and make it as small as possible.
Okay. So you are always comparing your array's last element, what you have just appended,
This,
yeah,
yeah.
with the current one, correct? Yeah.
And this,
Okay.
comparing that and this.
Yeah, you'll have to compare where you are in that, in the string, yeah, whether you
Had
have
the
some
string,
more occurrences of it, yeah.
had the string been this way, DCBA, then I would not have this part, because every
Hmm.
time my count would be zero, so I won't pop my character.
Yeah, so this is a efficient way of doing this. Yeah, absolutely. I agree. Yeah, but
So,
only concern in this, one thing about when you have actually that result dot back, okay. So that is very specific for a vector, that particular function. But
It's
if we
string here,
have,
right?
yeah, because you need to compare with the last one, right? Always. So it should be accessible in O of 1. That is possible in a vector, right? But what if other languages, how they can use it? I was just thinking loud in that.
I think we can always access the last character in constant time, because it's just an index size -1.
Okay. Yeah, that is also possible.
yeah, last one.
Right. Or
And the
maybe,
complexity would be in the worst case O of 2n, because I would pop once and like push it again.
right. Yeah, I think, yeah. Yeah, this is good.
Yeah, and
Because
it's
that is
different.
the only way we could be doing it, right?
Yeah.
Because the way what Deepak was saying, yeah, but I would still like to see if there is an implementation anyone actually done for that. That would be more interesting also to see, even if it's going to hit a TLE.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, no problem. Thank you, Arshit. Yeah. Any questions on this one?
Hey, Harshit, was there some other problem with the same logic recently
Yeah.
that you had used?
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
I showed it also.
Which
It
code
is
one?
is exact.
mentioned in that, yeah. Remove the
That
reference.
is,
Yeah, yeah, it feels like a deja vu, but yeah, okay. Okay, yeah.
It's the same. They also mentioned in the read code in both sessions. In the note, they say the
Okay.
question
yeah,
is
it's
same
like
as
that.
that one. So it was almost like a repeat problem for us. So it's good actually. We are revising
But
it again.
why that is hard? This is medium. Some,
Because it was the first one which came in the lead code because 316, right? And now this is
oh,
1081. So that is
Right,
already done. People know about the solutions to some extent, at least understand it.
the next time it will fall in easy, right?
No, I don't think so. It is subsequent problem, right? Subsequent problem are not so easy.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
At least in medium category, I'll have to go.
At least medium for sure. Because still we have done 1000 problems of lead code, surely we have come across with many subsequent problems. So at least know what subsequent is, how we can get to it, right? Yeah.
For Amazon, it asked 2 times.
Yeah. So yeah, thank you, Arshit. Yeah, but does Deepak also have a implementation for the way he was talking about? Has he implemented it?
Deepak is
Yeah,
on.
actually, I have the implementation for that stack approach, not brute force. So
Okay.
I haven't implemented the brute force one. I directly implemented the stack one.
Stack one. Okay.
Yeah, share it like if you want.
Yeah, I can share that. Just are you able to see my screen?
Yeah.
So here, first I take the three collection. One to track the visited node, second the stack, and third is the mapping to maintain the map to maintain the character and its count.
Index.
Okay.
Okay.
So first I initialize the map with all the character and its count. Next I just iterate over the character array which I derived from the input string, and if it is not visited and the count is not missed and it is present in the map, ideally it will always present, so this condition I can remove. So I just call this add function which will add that character to the stack. So when we call this add function, it will first check the count. It will always be greater than 0. Okay. And if stack is not empty, so I will just take the top element of the stack. And if it is greater than the current element, as well as the current element has a count greater than 0 in our map. So what we can do, we can remove the current element and we can continue till the top element of the stack is greater than the current element and having some count in the map, remaining count. And as we are removing the element from the stack, I will just remove from the visited as well, so that next time I can add that element again in the stack if required. Okay. So this add function will just help me to remove the greater element from the stack, which having some count still remaining in our visited set.
Yeah, that is what monotonic stack is, that part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the last, I'm just reducing the count from the map and just removing the entry from the map, so I will not visit it again. Yeah, once stack is there, I'm just building the string and returning this.
Yeah. So I like the way you did separate functions for add, reduce. That's more modularized. Yeah. Very good. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks.
In line 36.
Yeah,
hello.
one question. Yeah.
In line 36, you are checking if the stack element is null. Is that required? Are we pushing any null elements into a stack? Or why we doing that?
When we remove, no, so it can
Okay.
hit that.
So take the element. So take the example that in the stack, top element is A, and the present count of the A is not present in the map. I already removed A. Okay.
Okay.
So just so instead of doing the count 0 in the map, I directly removed that entry. So I don't even go to the first miss.
Oh,
No need
okay.
to save the
Yeah,
0.
yeah. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, got it. Yeah.
Actually, this condition I can remove because if it is present in that count will always be 1. But while doing this 0 optimization, I haven't removed this condition. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, good to know. Thanks, Dilip.
Concise. Modularity is there, right?
Yeah,
Separate.
Yeah. Thanks. I will stop.
Thank
here.
you. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, mine is almost similar to him only. Like, I'm creating first a dictionary and corresponding to each character in the string, I'm giving the indices, like at which position which character is there. And then while going through the stack, if I see that already that element, that character is present in your stack, duplicate if you are encountering, then just continue in that case. Or what we are doing, as long as your stack is not empty and top of the stack is greater than your present character, and this position, if the current index is less than the last scene, then you just keep on popping, and else otherwise you just append that element to the stack, and at last simply what do you say, take the element and then get the element and print it in a form of a string.
Oh, so here you don't use that visited data structure what everyone is using, right? Because you
Yeah,
can,
this is
yeah, you can directly find in the stack. So is this operation also O of 1?
Yeah, it will be. You've
No,
seen stack. I don't think so. It will be
no, a stack. Yeah.
So
O of n.
it won't be. Yeah,
Stack
it will
thing.
be O of n.
O of n only. It will be, yeah, because
Oh,
I've implemented stack as a list.
okay, okay.
Mhm. Oh, that way the time is not good, right? But if we have visited, that would have O of 1.
Right.
Set if I have taken here.
Yeah. Okay, that's
Could be
good.
O of 26 in the worst case.
Correct. Yeah. So it is not going to be more 2, right? Yeah.
Mhm.
It might be constant. Slower case. Yeah. Yeah, but it is very small. It's only
Why?
10
Because
lines
of
code.
Python.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Then we
Yeah.
can switch to
Good.
next.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So next is like map sum pairs. We have to implement a map sum class with insert and some methods. So for the method insert, you'll be given pair of strings. Sorry, given a pair will be there, which will have string, and corresponding to that string, you'll have an integer. The string will represent the key and the integer represents the value. And if the key is already existing, then original key value pair will be overridden to the new one. For the method sum will be given a string representing the prefix, and you are supposed to return the sum of all the pairs whose key value starts with prefix. So initially insert keys apple and value is 3. Now when we do sum app, so this prefix is matching with this, so you get output as 3. Next time when you are inserting app2, so since app is matching with this prefix of apple, I mean yeah, so 2 it will add to that. No,
Yeah.
no, it will add to, or it will make a new entry, and then in the second case, I think
No,
it
no.
will take
Actually, in that case, when you insert app, that is a different word, right?
new entry. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So that will
This
be as 2.
matches.
Yeah.
Yeah, and these two matches with this, so the value will be 5, right?
Right, right.
Yeah. Constraints, nothing as such.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
if we add
That's
apple again somewhere after app, we have added app equals 2 and the value of apple is different, then that will actually supersede the previous one. It will overwrite actually.
Override. Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. It is given somewhere that it will overwrite. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So that will have to be careful with.
So it seems clear-cut example of, clear-cut problem of trie data structure.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, but we could do without try also in a brute force way if you could think like just use some other data structure, put all these values, the key value pair, and as in a sum actually go traverse and find each and every string which starts with that key which starts with this one and just add those values and return it. That also is possible, right? So
Yeah.
if
So
we use yeah, Harshit.
yeah, go on.
Yes.
So I'm saying that every time we get this sum function, we get a string, right? So we'll have to look for all its prefixes, whether they are already there in my map or not, or
Yeah.
whatever
Mm-hmm.
structure I'm using or not. So as soon as I find a prefix, for example, for A double P, I'll look for A first. I won't find it. I'll look for AP. I'll find it. I'll then look for APP. I'll find that. So I'll add cumulatively the value part. So that would be O of n, right? In
Mm-hmm.
the sum part,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right.
because
So
all the
we can
prefixes
do
are,
multiple prefix entries. Won't that be good? Like, I mean, Apple is there. For Apple, we have three. Then you can have A3, then AP3, and then APP. So this will have O of one time only. Any prefix if it is given. Like A it is given, then we'll simply put it here and
yeah,
get the
but
sum.
that can work, but we are using more space.
Okay.
No, but this would be like, if you say no, it would work, right?
Yeah, it will work. So what he's trying to say is if you take Apple, you just split it from each and every alphabet
All the
and
prefix. Yeah.
yeah, all the prefix. And every time you go to the map, you actually add this current value to its previous value. You keep on appending it, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So now the problem only what will happen in this case, if you change your value of Apple in future from 3 to something else like 10, right? So you will have to make that change, right? But you'll
So
have to go to each and every prefix and make that change.
Right,
no,
and also
but that we'll get the difference justice. What is the difference of this value and this, and to whichever prefix we have to change. Yeah, I'll have to change to them. I'll
Okay.
add.
Okay. So what you are trying to say is you take a difference with the original
Yeah.
value and the current value and just keep on adding that difference, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. Then that is actually again better way of doing it. Yeah.
Mhm.
So suppose there is Apple equal to 3 and APP is 2. So if you try to add all the key with the just all the substring, so how you are going to differentiate them?
Mm,
So take the example, first you are adding the Apple. So for the A you will add 3, for AP you will add 3, APP you will add 3. Now
yeah.
you got one more insert, that is for APP equal to 2. So are you going to update the existing APP?
No,
Right.
I'll create for them like APP equal to 2 and then again A for this. Or no. What I'll do, see APP, let's say you got 2, right? So I'll check only till the
Yes.
prefix APP and try to get the difference. What all things I can have prefix from here? A, P, APP. So to all the three, I'll make. So, I mean, whatever difference I'll get, I'll add it, right?
but then you lose out on the prefixes you have stored for Apple.
Yeah, that is fine, right? So
The,
why should that be a
no,
problem?
after that I got the Apple, I'm updating the value to 2. So how you are going to differentiate that?
Okay, so in that case, what he will do, he already knows what is the value of Apple, right? Which is 3.
Yes.
Now you want to make it to 2. So what is going to happen? You are actually going to subtract the current one, which is the 2, from the previous one, which is 3. So the difference what you are going to get is -1. Okay.
Yeah.
So now what you are going to do is you are going to go to each and every key in the map, which starts from A,
And okay.
APP. A you are actually going to add -1. AP you are going to add again -1. APP also you are going to do same, and you are going to continue till APP LE, right? So then it will surely be updated to that new value.
So what
Okay.
you are
Yes.
saying is that when we
We
get the
first
same,
compute the difference and then update. Okay.
Right. Yeah, Harshit.
so what you are saying, Santosh, is that if we get apple again, then we'll just add the difference, right?
Right.
So what if we get something else, like if we get APP?
Okay. And you say that APP is changing its value, right?
Yeah.
You do the same thing there also,
Only,
because
yeah.
so if for whatever the current value of APP, now this APP value is 2, and if you get APP as 7, okay, so the difference is 7 minus 2, right?
5, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it will be 5. So now you actually have to add 5 in that case, correct? So you
Yeah.
go to A, you add again 5. So because you want to make that value as 7, right? But you're just adding 5. Then for AP also you do that, and APP also you do that, and then you stop there.
Okay. Right.
Yeah.
By doing this way, all the prefixes sums will accumulate at one place, right? Rather than
Yeah.
creating a separate cell for A
Yeah.
again. Yeah.
But the only downside is we are going to have a bigger map, because you are going
Yeah.
to store all the prefixes.
Yeah.
So then,
That is
yeah, but this will also be get accepted only on the space front. But then in that case, you use a other data structure, which might be like a
try will
try
come.
is a, yeah, try will be a more efficient way of doing it, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
now
That
when we
will
get
help us.
APP as our as a sum, uh, so which
Okay.
is the sum part? Okay. So
So,
now when we get, yeah.
uh-huh. So if we get APP, if we go to that key APP, so whatever value is there, it will be the sum of all the values till that time. So it will also store Apple as well as it will also store APP.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in the try, actually, you will keep on storing. I think you will still have something like, the same way what we discussed. The way we actually you are saying in a map, for each and every prefix, we separate for one letter, two letter, keep on forming a cumulative prefix. The same thing we can do for try also. Like at every node, we actually maintain some count or
Exactly.
some value, and then keep on adding that whenever we are traversing through the whole try. Correct.
Yeah.
So that will be an
So,
additional
so,
one. Yeah.
so in the try, you are suggesting that pre-compute for every prefix, right? Yeah, that will be,
Yeah. Same like what we were
that will
discussing.
improve the performance. Yeah.
Yeah, but again, the downside. But anyway, we'll have to store some space for the try. At least whatever are the way I think how try is implemented, because you will have a try node which will have a sort of children's. In this case, I'm assuming they are all lowercase, because they have not mentioned it's going to be lowercase, right? So I'm assuming they are lower cases. So I will just have 26 children's in the try node. And then instead of using a leaf, I will use the value, integer value, and keep on adding my sum.
One extra field
Yeah.
you'll create inside the node, right? Try node, which will.
Yeah, I will use the try node and then actually form a try class or object. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, if we do that way in the try, and if our some query was APP or AP something, then our answer will lie in at A or APP at P, second P. Like our answer can be lie at A also, right? Like whether the prefix is APP or AP or APPL, A will also have the answer, right?
But A will have answer with if you have something like APP, Apple,
AL.
then ABLE, something like that, right? So that also will be added in A, correct?
Yes,
Okay, that's
So I think
okay.
it is always good to go to APP, to the lowest one, and then return from there. So that will be the perfect sum.
Yeah. Got it.
Yeah. So anyone wants
But
to?
Santosh, just one question here. So
Uh-huh.
regarding the pre-computing of the value for all the prefix. So for the performance wise, which one will be the better, to pre-compute the value or to compute only what we required at the call? Yes. Take the example that I am adding the apple. So as yeah, for the A also I will compute the 3 value, for APP also I will compute the 3. So whenever there is a change, I need to compute that. So that is the one way. It will give the faster gate, means good response for the gate. I mean some call. But downside of this is that whenever there is a change in the try, I need to recompute that node. So which one is generally we should prefer, means faster sum or?
Well, it all depends on what is our what you say,
Yeah.
not implementation
What is
though,
the
but what is
use
the
case?
input, right? Yeah, use case. In this case, if it's going to be not so many of your, like maybe only 1,000 of this key value pair, then I think the way what we are saying, just insert in a map and then go whenever we find something, go and find the keys with that prefix and then sum it on the fly. That will work much better, I would say, in case of space complexity also. But if it's a very huge one, like a dictionary, right? A big dictionary or English Oxford dictionary, so then I think try
In
should
that
be
case,
a better option, right? Because
For
that
the
is
yeah,
once only you are going to do. That is just my thoughts, but yeah, there might have been that can be different of opinion in this case also. Okay, so does anyone have any implementation for? I at least see Shashank having it, right? So that
Yeah,
is a
no,
try.
I don't have.
Okay, you don't have a try also.
No, I haven't.
Okay,
So
I have the
actually,
try one, but
uh,
okay, yeah, you can go ahead. Yeah.
Hey, I have one question.
Uh-huh.
Um, in every try node, normally we keep a Boolean variable to indicate whether that's a word or not.
Right.
Uh, so, so you were suggesting that instead of that, we can keep this particular number, and that will work.
Yeah, actually, it is good to have another value of Boolean also, because that is the standard way of doing a try, right? That is what actually I also see of it. But then when I was actually implementing it, I was using this something value also. But then I thought I'm not using that the leaf one or whatever the end of the word, that Boolean variable. So I thought maybe if I remove it, at least I'm going to, you, uh, it might be space, what you say, efficient. So I'm actually avoiding some more space in that. So that is the reason
So,
I ignored it. Yeah. But you can use it. It's no harm in using that.
then for yeah, yeah. Okay.
And
So
and
my
then,
next,
yeah, go ahead.
yeah, no, please go ahead.
Yeah, so I'm saying because anyway we are only concerned with the prefixes. So for the prefix, we don't check the whether it is a end of the word or not, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, we just insert it and we just forget it. And then, but when we come to prefix, we don't use that leaf variable. So I thought maybe it's good to ignore it. Yeah.
So actually, when we are using that Boolean, normally for non-terminal nodes, we indicate that with false, and with leaf nodes, we indicate that with true. But if you're not using that and you're using an integer to store the value, then what will you what will you assign in the non-terminal nodes?
I think
I
we
mean the
have to use.
It will always be a value, because when you are traversing through each and every word, the way we said like earlier, if we can either form a map and actually split the whole word with single letter, two letter, three letters, like that, like forming a prefix, right? The same thing you are doing in that try also. When you are traversing through the try in that depth first search, you are actually splitting that way, right? So you'll always add whatever the as what you the key actually you are traversing. So you'll keep on adding that value. So actually it's a cumulative sum at each and every node.
Oh. Okay. Then that makes sense.
That would be much easier you to search for a prefix and return the sum.
Yes.
No.
Makes sense.
No.
But then, okay. But then in any case, for updation of a value, you will have to go through the full path.
Absolutely, yeah, you have to do. So for whenever you get any string, you'll surely have to go through that path. That is there. That you cannot avoid.
So, thank you.
Even if you use a map, you still have to do that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the same.
So, but order of one only it will take, right, to go to reach to that
In the map,
particular.
but in the map also you are again splitting, no? So you are splitting for each prefix, right? So you'll have to go through all those keys. Like if you are having Apple, you are having A, then AP, APP, APL,
Six
APPL,
almost
and
six.
APL. Yeah. So all of the keys you still are going to revisit. So same thing you are going to do for try also. Yeah.
Yeah, Deepak was sharing.
Yeah, I can share try one. Okay. Are you able to see my screen?
Yeah.
Hey, can you increase
this
your
is
font
the
a little, Deepak, please?
On.
Yeah, that's
is it
good.
fine now?
Yeah.
That's fine.
So
Too
this
much
is
recording.
initial yeah.
Okay.
Let me
Yeah,
declare.
fine.
So this is the base try class. I just declare here the character will be the key and the value will be the whatever the value we get for the end of the word. And I'm just maintaining the isn't flag because I'm using that somewhere. I will just go through that and collection of child. Okay. So initially I just created the empty root so that the first first character I can just start comparing with the child of this root. Okay. Now just take the add. We'll go through the add first. So in the add, I'm just taking the reference from the pointer to the root. Okay, reference variable. Then I'm just converting the input key into the character. I'm iterating over the character array. If that character is not present there, so maybe code is not that clean. So I will do that. So ignore some of the code. Maybe it is not that clean. So if character is not present there, I will just add in the try. Okay. If character is already present there, just take that as the next try element to iterate over.
You're going to, so you're moving to the next level. Okay.
I'm moving to the next level. Sorry. And whenever there is a end, I'm just updating the try value to the input value. Okay.
Okay. So on line 22, you are implementing, no.
So this line I just added to make sure that at the end of the character array, I should just mark that node as it is the end, and I just want to assign the value to that node. Otherwise, for all other node, I don't want to assign any value. I will keep that value as a 0.
Okay.
So in case of Apple, for the A, I don't want to assign any value. Just whenever there is a last character E, at that time only I will assign the value.
Okay.
What is the advantage of that?
Okay.
Just
You're using
Sorry.
this function
Could you please?
in the insert function or the that update function? Some function, sorry.
This is the add function.
So where are you using it? In the insert one or the sum one?
Insert.
I am
Okay.
insert one. Okay. So
Yeah.
So basically on the key, I'm going the character by character. If it is there in the try, I will use that. If it is not there, I will just add the new one. And if it is end and whatever I got the end of the my input and it is also present in the try, that means it's an existing value. I need to update that.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So it's a end. So I should always override the existing value irrespective of it is. I should always override the existing value. Okay. So that is the add part. So next one is the, I think it's sum.
Mm-hmm.
So basically in the sum, what I'm doing, and same thing, I'm just going in the try. I am trying to find all the children of the last prefix character. So take the example that your input is APP. So I will go to the APP, I will go to the n minus 1 and I will take all the child of the P, last character.
Okay. And then
And
you are again.
then I will sending this to calculate the sum, because ideally I need to calculate the sum for all the child of that last character, right?
Okay.
So in case of AP, I need to calculate the sum for APP plus sum for Apple or APA, whatever is there. Okay. So here I'm just sending all the child of this last try character to the calculate function, and this is just a recursion kind of thing here. So it will go through the each child, and if it is end, it is go through the each child and will just add the sum to the existing sum.
Okay.
So if we are implementing the try, yeah, implementation will take a lot of more code compared to map or something.
Yeah, but actually, yeah, in this case, you are implementing the try the very the standard implementation way, but you are not actually using the. Yeah, this will surely work. Should not be a problem. But only thing, if we can slightly optimize it, we could have taken care of that. The prefix, whatever we are actually traversing through each and every level, add that value whatever we have in each and every node, so that would have been
Yes.
one way of doing it. Yeah.
Yeah, so that will definitely help in the sum function, because I don't need to compute that.
Correct.
Whenever I'm just adding, so instead of after the adding, I just need to calculate this. Yeah, while adding instead of computing instead of calling it while doing the sum.
Yeah.
So yeah, that will give the some performance boost. Yeah.
Yeah, for our test case also, like even if the lead code, whatever, I think this will also work, and it will also give the same time complexity, because I don't think they have very huge test cases for this problem, So I don't think so. There won't be any timing per se of the lead code. Yeah. Yeah, this will also work. Yeah. Yeah. What, Shajan, please go ahead.
No, I was just saying runtime I was looking.
Yeah. So runtime is also not bad. So
yeah, 67%.
Yeah.
So Deepak, let's say we have APP for the sum function, and in the try we have Apple and APP. So where are you like adding the values?
So actually it's going to APP, and after P, see, he picks up the try node, and then he uses like a DFS, some sort of recursion. So he goes through that DFS, and every time he hits on a leaf, he actually takes the value and keeps on adding, and then he returns it. Right, Deepak?
Yeah. So here in the add function, if you check, I'm just going through the root and take the example your input is the APP. So I will just converting to the array. After that, so Apple you already added. That means A is already there, P is already there, and this P is already there. Okay.
Yeah, I was talking about the
so
sum
I'm
function.
just Okay, sum function. Okay, not add. Okay. So in the sum function, you given the prefix as a APP. So
Okay.
when you come here, it will iterate on the APP, and I'm just terminating this one character before because I just don't want to add more code. So what it will do, it will first go to the A. So this is not the complete prefix. It will again go to the next child of the A, that is P. Okay, it will go to the P, and once it is in the P, so it is the last button character. It will just come out of the for loop. Then for the last character, it will take all the child of that character. Sorry, it will just take the try, not all the child. It is just taking the try.
Yeah, it will take that node.
And
Yeah, and from that node,
yeah,
actually
and
is going
fi-
to
Number 51,
Yeah.
we are at the last P.
last P. Yeah, so that is what the try
yes,
is. Yeah.
yeah. It is at the last P, and then after the last P, to calculate all the sum of all the child, I need to use all the child of that try node. So I'm just passing those child to next function. And take the example, if APP is the end of some of the string, so I just need to even consider if that last character is the end, I need to consider that one as well in the existing sum.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
So
And for
this is
apple,
one corner case. So
let's say we
Yeah.
have
So yeah, but instead of that, instead of using this corner case, you could have in line 56, you could have passed on try itself. So and in your recursive function, the calculate, you could have taken care of that. Yeah, it's like
yes.
optimization. Yeah,
So,
but this is also good, not a
yeah.
problem. Yeah.
Yeah. So there, instead of working on the child, I can work on the try in the recursion. Yeah. That might also miss. That is also good. Yeah.
okay, no, you have already reached that part, so why to start from the root? This is the better one.
Yeah, this is also good, but
We
to
are
maintain the code per what you say, the momentum of the code, so yeah, either way works, no problem.
Yeah, now in the calculate function, you are finding the values for all the bigger strings, right? For apple, like strings which have more than APP, right?
yes. So this local is not in use, so I can remove that.
Mhm.
So wherever is the end of the string, there only I assign the value. So otherwise it will be the 0. So I'm just, for every child, I'm just adding that value into the sum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This
So
works.
what
Yeah.
is time complexity here?
Well, time
Okay,
complexity
so
will be for insertion. You are always going through the whole word. So it
Yeah,
will be O of n if we
so
actually consider the word size, right?
yeah.
yeah.
And for some, you are going through each and every, each and every word, whatever are
So
actually with the prefix. Yeah, go ahead, Apiyaba.
yeah, you are miss. That is only O of k plus then for all the child. So O of n. So O of k, I'm just taking for the key is APP. So we need to go the 3 level, that is and then we need to visit all the child. So maybe take there are 26 child. So O of 26. So
The longest word, right? In the worst case.
Yeah.
yeah,
So if we were supposed to return sum of A, in that case, you will have to run through each and every word in the try, right? So it would be like whatever the words you have inserted till now for A, you'll have to run. So worst case, it might be O of whatever the words into their length. Assuming that we had only words inserted with starting with A.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this is sufficient implementation, and it will surely be fine, right? Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I will stop sharing if
Sure.
you don't
Yeah.
have any.
Okay, so I'll quickly share the one what I was talking about. So
Mhm.
anyone has that other implementation, Shashank or Harshit?
No, I
No,
don't
I
have.
don't have.
Okay. Okay, so I'll just go through that. Okay, so I also first started with the way what Deepak was saying. Therefore, it is in some cases it is a redundant. Okay, so this is the one, but okay, so there are some other stuff also. So this is my try node. Okay, and my try node is way up. Okay, so this is my try node. I'm using children, which I'm assuming 26 only. So I'm using an array, and then I'm using leaf also and also value, but I'm not using the leaf in my uh, try to. This is what the class I'm using, and this is just a normal get node. What I initialize a node. I don't use this DFS function uh, in this one. So that was for some other function, and then when I come to insert, we'll just come through this insert part and then the sum part. But I'll just show you my map sum. Map sum will be my try, okay? And then actually I'm just, you know, allocating memory to this try and then actually calling an insert function. And then I'm looking for if my prefix size is less than or equal to 0. That is a condition I'm checking, or else I'm just calling the sum, okay? So this is my try. Actually, this try now is try to in this case because I modified this uh, class. So insert, I'm doing the same thing. I'm just going through a string and passing the value. I'm just calculating the delta value first. Okay, so I'm assuming delta for now as v. But if I also, whenever I'm actually storing any value of the string, I also store in a map which is called as a score. So if that value is already present, okay, I get that value from the map and subtract with the delta. So that is what the difference what I get. And also I update my map with the latest new value.
Data value, yeah.
Okay. So then I actually go through this try node, okay, and then I assign the root, and then this is my delta. So then I actually run through this whole string, and when I'm running through the string, I find first the index of that, and then I find whatever the value is not null. So I add a new node, and then this is the standard try, right? So I go to the next level, and then I update my delta value, which will be the value for each and every node.
Prefix.
Yeah. So that is what I do. And then when I come to prefix sum, okay, so in the prefix sum, what I do is I actually go to here. I start with the root again and start going through the length of that prefix, that is n. And then when I go to the end of that, right, so I keep on moving level by level, I just return the value at that node, right? So that is slightly efficient way of doing. So this is what I was explaining. Or else earlier also I was doing the same thing what Dilip was saying, and therefore I had this DFS function here, and I was going and calculating each and every value, right?
Yeah, from 1 to 26.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. A slight optimization,
That
but
update part is working fine. Yeah. That is optimizing, right? That update, getting the difference and then.
yeah. So, but you still, downside is like you have to maintain some some data structure to see if there is a duplicate already existing, or else you'll have to again traverse through the try to find out if there is a duplicate, right?
Yeah.
So you need to have this information beforehand, going through before you go into a try node, or else it will be a lot of work. So that is one thing which is required. And yeah, so this is that unordered map what I'm using. So along with the try, we'll have to use another data structure. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
can you move the insert function?
Yeah.
So I don't understand how is this delta helping, because in line number 121, if you simply do crawl of val equal to v,
Which one?
in line number 121,
Uh-huh.
instead of using this delta, if we simply do crawl of val equal to v.
Oh, so then what will happen is for each and every node, you are assigning this v, right? So you are actually overwriting the node value, correct?
But here also you are doing the same thing. No? So
No, no,
let's say
no. So,
initially the value of crawl of val is 5. Okay,
uh-huh.
so now the new value v is 3. So delta would be -2, right?
Uh-huh.
So what you are doing is crawl of val plus equal to of -2.
Uh-huh.
So that becomes crawl of val equal to 3, right?
No, no, no. See, what I'm doing is, okay, so if my apple value, okay, how do I annotate here? Okay,
You
annotate,
can write
yeah,
it down.
yeah. Okay. So if I already have APPLE, right? Okay. And I have a value 3 in this case for apple, right? So for each and every try, so now if I assume I have a try which starts with A node, right? Then go with B, then with P, right? And then with LE, right? So in that case, oh, what I started. Okay, LE. So each and every val here will be 3. This also will be 3, right? This also will be 3, and this also will be 3, correct? So now if I change this 3 to like 7, okay. So if you look at this part, okay, so I actually subtract 7 minus 3. So I know my delta is going to be 4, right? So therefore, my crawl dash val in line 121, which was 3, in this case, this one. So if I add 4 to this guy, right? So if I add 4 for all of them, so it is going to be 7.
Right, right. So if you simply reassign it, like what I'm saying is crawl of val equal to v.
Crawl of val if equal to v if I do, because if I have some other word which is app, right? So if I have already stored value of app also along with this, and that value was like a 5, okay. So I will have year like 5, year 5, and year 5, not for the others, right? So you're overwriting that value also. So whenever I want to find a prefix of AP only, so I can get the value of this one, right? So which will have a prefix sum of APP and APPLE also.
Okay, this would keep track of all the previous
Yeah,
entries.
right, right.
Yeah. Yeah, and in the sum function, you are can you scroll down?
Sum function actually just run through the, go to the prefix in this case, right? So if you see here, it is nothing but actually going to the prefix, the end of the prefix. As soon as you go to the end of the prefix, your crawl function, whatever the value is, in this case, whatever this value is, you are just going to return it.
Yeah. Insert is the chunk here.
Yeah. So insert will be slightly complex and you are going to use another data structure. So it might be an overhead to that. So therefore, whatever Deepak has actually implemented also should work very easily and should be fine, right? But in case someone actually pulls you in the interview and asks you to do something different, so it will always be there, right? So this is another good way of thinking and just have some
But
discussion with him, right?
but this implementation will definitely give the performance boost for the sum, right? Major.
Yeah,
Means
but
we are
actually, if you look at the
not.
timing, they are the same for the previous one and also this one also. So that is what I was saying. So should, because maybe lead code has only the test cases, which are,
Okay.
yeah, you
Yeah.
see this, right? So all of them are only 4 in my case. I tried for all of them. So everyone is the same. Even the memory size is the same. So yeah, doesn't make much of a difference though. Yeah, but it's good to have all these, right? So it helps when you are discussing with someone.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay,
Please
that's
share this
Thank
code.
sure. I'll do that. Yeah.
Yeah. So our next question is like X kind of X of a kind in a deck of cards. So in a deck of cards, each card has an integer written on it, and we are supposed to return true if and only if we can choose X greater than equal to 2 such that it is possible to split the entire deck into one or more group of cards, where each group will have exactly X cards and all the cards in the group have same integer. So like this one, like each group is having equal number of cards, right? And all the card and they, I mean, all the group will have same type of card. Like one will have one only, one can't have two. But here it's not possible because this will be three, this will be three, and the other one will be of two only. Here also it's not.
Okay, so in that case, if we have 3, 3, 2,
Okay.
so why can't we take 2 because 3, 3 are there, right?
Yeah, a group will be only size will be different. No, here it is of size only two. This will be size of three. This will be size of three, right?
Okay, so all groups should be of equal sizes. Yeah, that is the
Each group
requirement.
should have exactly X cards.
What was that? X greater than equal to 2? I think.
At least two objects should be there in one group.
Okay.
Like this one will be false. Only one. I mean, one we have.
Okay, so it is saying that whatever the deck you have, you actually form a group of same integer values, same values,
Okay.
right? So that is what it's trying to say. And then you find what is the size of each group, and if they are all equal and they are greater than or equal to 2, you return true, right?
True. Yes.
Right.
Okay. Is it that simple?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, one way like hash map you can create, right?
Okay.
Generate the frequency for each of them and check whether all the frequency are same or not. First of all.
Mhm. Yeah, so
But
it should
but
be same, right?
it, but in the hash map, suppose for the one frequency is 2
Okay.
and for the 2 frequency is 4. So are we still doing the computation there? Means modulo. Sorry,
No, in that case it will
modulo.
be false, right?
False it will be, right.
No. That is true because we can form three groups, one of the same size. So as one occur 2 times, so first group will be 1, second group will be 2, and third group will be 2.
Yeah. No. Yeah, that's correct.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
never thought of that.
So you can split a group and have same
Yes.
number of integers in 2 different groups?
Same integer can have the in 2 different groups. So just the constant is that group size should be the same, and in one group there should be the same character.
Yeah,
So
homogeneous.
same number. Sorry.
So what was
Oh,
the idea behind splitting? Why didn't we just include them in one group, the 4 twos?
So if we include them in the one group, so that size of the group is not same because for the
Okay.
to form the group of 1 size will be the 2, and to form the group of 2
Four.
size will be the 4. So that constant is where it's not working there.
Got it.
okay.
So what we can do, we can form the first group of 1, second group of 2, and third group of 2. So
Yeah, I think we can sort this array first.
Uh-huh.
Just approach, and then try to pick. We'll try to
But
pick
what
two.
sorting? What advantage will get out of sorting here?
So you'll have a same number of the same elements in a particular group, no?
That you can, okay. Then hash map will also give you like
Yeah, that is
collection of,
okay. But in hash map, okay, if we are focused on time complexity, then I think hash map should be good. But
yeah.
if we are focused on space complexity, right? So hash map will have more space. So in that case, sorting, if we can do in place, then sorting might be a better one if
But
we are
time,
But
ignoring the time complexity for some time.
uh, but if we consider the time complexity as well, still hash map will don't have good one compared to sort, right? Because every key we need to check the matching frequency. Uh, so for the 1 and 2, so we need to iterate over all the keys and we need to check that count of there is in a range of matching frequency, so that we can divide equally into the subgroup, right?
I think we need the hash map because how do we guide our group number, like number of elements in a group? I think that would be based on the lowest frequency, right?
yeah, no, but yeah, lowest frequency only
Yeah. So let's
because
say we have an element with some frequency, which is the lowest. So we, at any case, we'll try to form all the groups of this frequency only, right? Because we cannot have more number of elements for the element we choose.
No, that also won't work with the lowest frequency. Take the example, we have the 1 4 times and 2 6 times. Okay.
Okay.
So in this scenario, I think your lowest frequency is 4, right?
Right.
But if you form the group with the 4, then still for the 2 there will be last group with the 2 elements. So that
Right. Got it.
it won't, that criteria will get failed. So maybe we can think of starting with the frequency 2, and then if it is not satisfying the criteria, we can just increase the frequency count to 3 4 5 till the length by 2 minus 1,
No, but in that
length by
case,
2 plus 1.
okay, that's a good example. What you said, you have 1 4, okay, 4 of ones and 2 6, right? So in that case,
Yes.
how are you going to find a frequency of 2? Because you have a frequency of 4 and frequency of 6, right? In your map. So you won't
Yes.
have any frequency of 2. So how are you going to calculate that?
So definitely I cannot go with the lowest frequency from the map. So what I can do here, I can start with the frequency 2, because minimum requirement is that size should be the 2, right? Greater than 2. So if I use the 1, I should be able to divide into the 2 groups if I divide by the 2. And if I do the same for the 2, it will form the 3 group with the same size. So that is satisfying the criteria, right? I can break further frequency there.
Right, but this would be expensive. Yeah, this would work for sure. We'll have to try all the group sizes from 2, and then
So,
try to club the elements.
right. So are you saying that you find the lowest frequency first, okay, but still you start from 2? Is that what you're saying? Because in this case, the lower frequency is 4. So you start from 2, right? Then 3 and then 4. So whatever actually matches, but I don't understand how you are
Yeah, we
saying
don't.
2 is the right one.
If we find a
So,
true case,
so
we don't.
if you find the
yeah,
highest
please
common
continue.
frequency, then
Sorry.
highest common frequency, like 4, I mean, 4 is lesser than 6 for 2, right? 2 is having 6, total frequency of 2 is 6 and total frequency of 1 is 4. So if we take the highest common factor for them, then that will be, what do you say? That should be the potential group size, right?
Why?
So you mean highest denominator, right? Or
And one will have
low?
4 and two will have 6. So what will be the SCF of them?
2.
4 6, yeah, it would be 2, right? Yeah, it would be 2.
Okay.
Yeah, it will be 2. So in the size of 2 to 2, you can distribute everything, right?
Yeah.
This looks good, but how you implement this? But I would say, like, if you are using a hash map, why don't we do it like this? Whenever we have some value, okay, you
Okay.
start from 1. Okay, so you don't actually remove those. So we have the keys as the frequencies, right? So whenever we see 1, you actually first put that 1 in that key. Okay, maybe a vector map of key which will be your frequency, and then your value will be a vector, right? So when you put that in the first, then when you come to 2, you put again, because it is a single element, that you again put in the first frequency. 3 also you do like that, for the 4 also. But when you hit on a 4 second time, so you create another key which will be at this time a 2, because you already have that in the previous frequency, which is 1. So you can increment the frequency to 2, and so next time whenever you get all the ones which are greater than from the previous key, then you add to the new key, right? So something what we do for that, I think LRU or some other one, right?
Gotcha.
Yeah. So we keep on incrementing that. So at the end, then you can always run, okay, 1 is not possible. So you can look for 2, and you can, if you find all the these numbers in there, right? So that should be okay, right?
But
Or you still have to go for, yeah, in that case, if something higher is there, so what are you going to do in that case, right?
that will create.
I got your point, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, but how are you going to come with this implementation?
Yeah, I'll create a map, and then whatever values you are getting on that, I'll run the SCF GCD function.
Oh, okay.
So had this been 7 twos, then your HCF would have been 1, right? Then
No,
you
okay, I'll take only greater than 1. I'll check. It should be greater than 1, then only I'll take.
So that's what I'm saying. If your count for 2 is 7, then your GCD would be 1, right?
Yeah.
Then this would be a false case.
Well, that's why I will take care of that. Like it should be greater than 1.
Yeah, this should work. Yeah.
Yeah, but actually, this what you say about the GCD,
Yeah.
it's not very easy to come up with, right?
Yeah, I mean, I saw in the discussion, and then
Yeah,
that idea
actually, I couldn't understand it, but now you guys are discussing, so the way he explained how we can break it, so that makes yeah, but the GCD still doesn't.
I think we should have been able to, but that's okay.
Yeah, so I was thinking, like, if we can at least implement the brute force way, and that should be
fine
an
enough.
easy problem, right? Yeah.
But logically, it's good, right? Highest common frequency I'm trying to find. If I if one's frequency is 2, and if I can divide everything in that, because that will be the limiting condition, right? Whatever will be the highest, what is it, lowest frequency common in everything.
Okay.
Low.
Yeah.
Yeah, brute force would be what Deepak was explaining. Like we try with every group size starting from 2,
Hmm.
and then we stop where we find a true case, and we go till the maximum frequency. Or no, where should we go then?
But I don't understand, like, how are we going to go? Like, if you start from 2, so where are we going to stop? Anyway, we have to find the more
So
greater than 2, right?
no. So if for the two, if our result got satisfied, then we don't need to go further, right?
Right.
Yeah, but in this
We can
case,
just
like
break
when,
them.
when we had 4 ones and 6 twos, so in that case also 2 is satisfied, right?
Yes, we will stop there because that is
Okay.
valid accepted criteria.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I'll
So
give you another example then in that case. So that is what is the other example what they have said, right? So we have something like 3 ones and 3 twos and 2 threes. So in this case, actually it's a false, right?
Yeah.
yeah,
Right.
So how do we apply this over here?
So, yeah, please go ahead. Sorry.
Deepak, go on.
Okay, so suppose this is sorted, okay? So we are starting with the frequency 2 first, okay? So I will compare the 0th and 1 element. If it is same, then it is satisfying first, okay? Then I will compare the second index 1 and 2. So this subarray is not satisfying the condition. We can just break there.
Okay, so you are actually having a frequency of only at the end you are looking for it. Okay.
So just go with the 2 frequency, then compare that subarray, because we already sorted the array. So that subarray size. And if your frequency is not satisfying the condition, somewhere the 1 and 2 will come in the one group, and that will break your loop. Then just start with the 3. So maybe 1 1 1 it will get satisfied, 2 2 2 it will get satisfied. But for the 3 3, this size won't get satisfied. So you can break there.
Okay.
I'm wondering, Deepak, till what point should we keep going? I know if
So,
we take the n, that would work, but I think we can stop somewhere before also.
So yes, definitely we can stop. So length by, so if I ignore the size equal to 2, okay. So length by 2 we should be able to stop max.
Length
Okay.
by 2.
So he's saying if even if it works for 2 and we are able to form all groups, then it's fine. Don't even go ahead with that other ones, right?
Yes. I just want minimum frequency which I am satisfying the condition. So even I just thought on the even and odd rule as well, but it was breaking somewhere, means 7 or something. So in case of prime number, it was breaking. So
Okay. Yeah, so in this case, if we had 3 3 3s, okay, so the 2 won't work, right? So you'll still have to go for the 3. So in that case, you all have to go.
yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
makes sense.
I think, Deepak, instead of going till length by 2, we can also go till the count of the minimum, like the minimum count.
Minimum frequency, yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So yeah, but we need to calculate. We need to that that improvement we can do. We just need to keep that count somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah.
When we are actually creating a hash map, at that time we can find which is the minimum frequency. Yeah, that is possible. Yeah,
I think we don't need a hash map for that. Once we have sorted the array, we know the first element. No. We need something, right? Yeah.
Actually, it was again n, since we need to iterate that. So iterate whole array, right?
Yeah. So I think therefore what Shashank is saying, the GCD may be fine because we have all these values in the hash map as 333, and if we find a GCD of all of them, it will be 3. So if it was 2, then the GCD would have been only 1. So that would not satisfy, right? So you are actually finding the GCD only, right? And you are looking for GCD is greater than or equal to 2. Correct?
Yeah, greater than 1. Greater than 1, yeah. At least 2.
Yeah, greater than 1 means it will be greater than or equal to 2.
2, yeah.
Okay. Then that is fine, yeah.
So what Deepak was discussing, that would be n log n, right? In the worst case.
I think he was only saying that how we can form the groups. He was trying to break it down the problem, but not the implementation wise, right?
Right, but we'll have to sort
No,
that.
So it won't be n log n because sorting will take n log n, right? So
yeah.
After the sorting, it will be n log n plus
Right. So yeah.
what the frequency we try into n.
No, but n log n will precede, right? So that should be only n log n, big O of n log n, right? So that should be fine. For big O of n, the time complexity is n log n. Even if you are actually going through that array again, it will be just O
I
of
think
n.
it would be more, Santosh, because after that, our problem is like a sliding window problem, right? We are taking a window of 2, then 3, then 4. So that would be n square.
Not, it won't be the n square as well, but yeah, And log n we just need for the sorting, and then for the every frequency window, maybe 2, 3, 4, we need to go through the array. So
Yeah,
at least
now I'm getting a
the
yeah.
compare the end element of that frequency, because all other element will be the same.
Yeah, worst case it might be n square. Yeah, yeah. Okay, yeah. So if it's a sliding window, then it will be more.
So in sliding window, we can avoid the hash map, right?
Yeah, yeah. We are actually going away from the space complexity, but we are trying to take a hit on the time complexity. So we have n log n, and then we go through that whole array, the sorted one, and then use this frequency. We start with 2, because usually we'll get for the prime numbers like 2, 3, 5, 7, whatever it is, much quicker. Others will be repetition of them, right? So we are not bothered. Maybe we just take the prime number also. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's cool. That works.
So this formula also is working, n minus k plus, oh, that is the time complexity you're saying, right? On the chat.
No, I didn't see what was in the chat.
N minus k plus 1 into n, okay.
Harshit, okay.
Yeah. That's fine.
N minus k plus 1 into n. Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. Oh, looks good.
Yeah.
In the editorial, they have given the time complexity of GCD function as log